Hi people, Murunura Ifenberg here. In this video, I did an article in 2017. This was ages ago for me, 3 years ago, called "Analyzing and Reflecting, Looking Back." If you want to read that article, it's going to be obviously about what I discuss in this video. Then see the link in the description below, alongside everything else that I might link down there, the usual. In this video, I'll simply be discussing how a spirit goes to work when you, as an occultist, or when you, as a spirit worker, summon a spirit or host a ritual towards a certain goal, as well as a magical system. Now, there's magical systems that one might use since it comes to mind, since the thought comes to mind, and also what the entire process looks like. So yeah, let's dive right in. When you as an occultist, or when you as a, whatever you want to call yourself, in any case, when you as someone that practices the occult, when you as a practitioner was the phrase I was looking for, when you do your thing, when you do your magic, you practice your magic, okay, and you perform a ritual. It doesn't matter whether you're working with the spirit or whether you're practicing something like witchcraft, which generates energy from the self, okay, depending on the kind of ritual, but it doesn't matter. Regardless of what magical system you practice, if you work with a spirit, for example, and you host a ritual towards some end, towards some objective, for example, you need money, and you summon a spirit and you host your ritual, and you say to that spirit, I want money. The way that it's going to happen, factors that play a role or play a part are, for starters, the nature of the spirit. If the spirit is someone that works in a certain way, then it's all going to be obvious that it's going to be obvious that in general that needs to match your nature. For example, if you're summoning a spirit for money that is used to working coercively, as in that spirit is used to wreaking minor to mild misfortunes or causing those in order for you to get what you want, that spirit is obviously not going to change his or her or its method of working. And if you're someone that's not looking for that, for example, you're looking for money, and the spirit that you summoned is a spirit that works forcefully, and the spirit can do anything from having you break your leg so that you cash in on health insurance or something similar, or burn down part of your house so that you cash in on whatever insurance you had on your property, so real estate insurance. That's my point. Okay. Yeah, sorry, that's my phone. Just ignore it. Let me just put it on vibrate. Yeah. Yeah. So whenever you do stuff like that, those are things that you need to keep in mind. You need to ask yourself what kind of spirit you're going to work with, which spirit suits your nature. If you're someone that wants things to happen in a peaceful way, so without hurting anyone, then obviously you're not supposed to work with a spirit that has forcefulness or aggression in his character build-up. Secondly, it's also not going to work if that spirit is going to have tremendous difficulty doing his or her job if you tell that spirit that you're going to please do things peacefully, when it's not in that spirit's nature, the likes of which the spirit I just mentioned. Okay, so yeah, you need to focus on the nature of the spirit. What kind of spirit is it? Does the spirit work via coercion? Is the spirit someone that does things peacefully? Is the spirit someone that utilizes, is the spirit someone that uses social life or social interactions to accomplish the objective that you have in mind? Is the spirit someone that works quick? Is it the spirit someone that works slow? Is the spirit someone that works in the long term, or suitable for the long term, or just short term? You name it, yada yada yada. Those are things that you need to keep in mind. Again, nature. Point one, nature of the spirit. Point two, you need to focus too on I'm sorry. You need to focus on the way that the spirit is going to work, aside from what I mentioned. That was point one, the nature of the spirit. Point two, from a neutral perspective, what is that spirit going to do? That spirit is going to analyze you the same way that an antivirus program analyzes a computer and scans the entire computer. The same way that you have apps running on your phone, if you have a smartphone or whatever handheld device you have with you, which will scan your phone for whatever reason, okay? The objective, or at least part of the objective or purpose of your app. Point is that, yeah, that's the way that spirit is going to work. That spirit is going to look at you, and the spirit is going to go like, this person wants to make as much money as possible. This person wants to preferably work from home. This person wants to do as little as possible, but at the same time this person wants to make as much money as possible. That spirit is going to take everything, all of your criteria in terms of what your petition, what you want from that spirit in exchange for you hosting a ritual. That spirit is going to give you the equivalent of the energy that you invested. So if you gave little to nothing, you don't expect a lot, because you're going to get little but to nothing. That's normal. It's trading and bartering. It's the basics of the universe. Okay, you give me something, I give you something of equal worth. It's basic trade and commerce. So yeah, that's what the spirit is going to do, and that spirit, in alignment with his or her nature, that spirit is going to meet your needs. Spirit is going to look at your environment, what opportunities are available, what can he work with, what can she work with, what can that spirit do for you. Okay, examples that I'm going to give. Example number 1, referring to my own personal life. This was way back, lifetimes ago for me, when I still work with the spirit Clonak. Most of you that watch this now are familiar with Clonak, demonic entity or infernal entity from the Grimorium Peru. When I still work with Clonak, the things that I had in mind is that I wanted to work from home. I wanted to work behind a computer. I wanted to make as much money as possible, and I wanted my job to be as easy as possible. Okay, Clonak by nature, he's someone that works through career means. So he's someone that works literally when it comes. He's practically the ideal spirit, so to speak, theoretically, to work with when it comes to things of a career-based nature. I discuss all of this in his video. If you haven't seen him before, then just wait until the end of this video and you can watch it, or check the link in the description below to his article. I'm gonna link his video to the end screen when this video ends. Yeah, that's the way the spirit works, and this infernal entity works. So this entity is all about work. Okay, this entity specializes in wealth, but through career means, so through work means. And those are the benefits of the spirit. The drawback of that spirit is that spirit will cause you to overwork yourself to the point where you burn out, and there's nothing that you can do about that. That's simply his nature. That's Clonak's makeup. When I still work with Clonak, this is just for the sake of example. Okay, for example's sake, when I work with Clonak, he got me what I wanted, but I could tell what he was doing. He literally just scanned me. Okay, this is what you want. He tried to accommodate me as much as possible by adhering to my needs and wishes as much as possible, and he was able to do so to the extent which he was able to do so, and also in accordance with his nature. So yeah, that's why I work with him, because he seemed the best. He seemed like the best fit based on the circumstances. I was like, okay, I want to make money, and I just want to have a job which pays me as much as possible and which is the easiest as possible. Something that I can do from home, something that I don't have to break my head over. No coming into contact with annoying colleagues or annoying bosses that breathe down my neck, blah 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 blah. And Clonak took a look at me and went like, okay, this is what he wants, okay. And he scanned my entire environment, as in the city I live in my prospective country, and he was like, okay, these options are available, and he guided me towards these options. As an infernal entity, infernal entities tend to be more coercive. I'm not saying that he was coercive, but on occasion it was, let's just say, it was coercive up to a minor extent, as in, he made me lose my job. It's not like I just got the option to simply resign peacefully or anything like that. No, I lost my job the hard way. So this is basically not so much him guiding me as it is pushing me, as in, okay, you need to go that direction, boop. That's how Clonak worked. No offense meant to him, of course. He's in the background as always, by the way, all the spirits are. The second I think about a spirit, even the spirit appears. Yeah. In any case, and that's how Cloudnet worked. I lost my job. I worked at a call center back then, and I lost it by force. I was accused of fraud, blah 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 blah. You know, typical parasitic company trying to place the blame on me as an employee. I didn't care. I literally just said, no, I'm not even gonna bother. Okay, and I look for other work. And of course, anxiety plays a role because this is your income. You know, I need money to survive. I need an income. I need a job, a source of income. So, you know, you're thinking to yourself, what in God's name are you going to do? How are you going to get by? And I got guided to working as a dating site moderator, which basically met all the standards. I could work from home as long as I have a device that has an internet connection, and I can just log into my environment and I can just do my thing, work, and done. And it paid more, substantially more. And not just that, Cloudnet basically gave me the energy to literally work. I was like a one-man. I also mentioned this in my Cloudnet video. I was like a one-man department. I did the same amount of work thanks to him, the energy that he gave me, that 5 to 10 employees could do. I'm not kidding. So I basically did the same work that 5 to 10 employees did, and I made approximately the same amount of money. I made it started slowly, of course. I started making 1 to 1.5 times as much as I'm used to making income-wise. After that, it turned into twice as much, then 3 times as much, and it just goes on. I think the most I got was 3 times as much. But again, that's simply due to the limitations placed on me in my environment. This was basically, I ended up at a company, which was pretty much the best company in the entirety of the city, in the entire town. It didn't get any better than it does not get any better than that company locally. So yeah, and that's what I made 3 times as much as the average person made. So yeah, I was content because I had never made that much money before, and Cloudnet gave me the drive. I didn't even have to work an entire day, as in 8 hours. No, I only worked 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the afternoon. For the rest, I was done. I had plenty of free time. I had plenty of everything. And I didn't have to commute to work. I literally didn't have to do a single thing, not go out in the rain or anything. I could stay at home. It could be storming outside and raining. I'm just sitting inside and chilling and hanging out. I don't have to do anything, you know. The second I hopped out of bed, I was already at work. I could work whenever I wanted to on my own terms, and I was free since I was in my own environment, my own bubble, personal bubble in space. I could do whatever I wanted to, essentially, without any issues or without any fuss. Without any fuss. And yeah, that's an example. Of course, as a drawback, like I said, the whole instability part of Cloudnet's nature came into play, as in overwork. You know, I burnt out easily, as a result, I ended up in trouble. In 1 year, I exchanged employers 4 times, and in the end, it led to me being stranded because the best company that I just mentioned, the one where I made the most money, I also got stranded there and I was laid off. So I was fired from the job because of what I said. So yeah, this is simply an example. Everything I've said from the beginning of this video up to this point, the example highlights all of that. The nature of the spirit you work with, how does that spirit work, and you know, that spirit is going to scan you as in, okay, this is what this guy wants, this is what he wants, blah 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 blah. I also need to mention lastly in this example that I got my energy's worth, because back then I didn't offer a lot. I gave him the same food I ate every day. I offered food back then too. Blast from the past, so long ago. And I slowly offered more stuff, you know. I offered simple things like $100 necklace, $100 bill. I really did my best, and it paid off. That's how I started getting stronger, because you know, it's tit for tat. Cloudnet gave me what I gave him in return. Yeah, I gave him more energy through offerings, and through better quality offerings, and he got me better quality jobs until I reached my limit, of course. But my limit was due to my environment being limited, of course. But yeah, that's simply an example. Example number 2. Simply going to give you an example. Let's just say I work with a spirit. I'm going to give a shout out to the Goetic demon Zipar, or the Goetic spirit, Zipar. He's an infernal spirit, so yes, he's a demon. But he doesn't like to be called demon. Infernal spirit is better. Yeah, the solar infernal entity Zepar, with whom I've also worked with, and I'm also gonna link his article as well as video in the end screen. I've worked with Zepar for customers for a long time, but yeah, that time is obviously over. In any case, that time is over. I think I stopped working with Zepar around 2018. Yeah, that was the last time I worked with Zepar. He's also giving me a shout out. Yeah, by the way. And Separ specializes in love and romance and whatnot. And simple example is if I were to ask Separ to hook me up, a lot of factors play a role. First off, Separ's nature. How does Separ work? Separ works in an overall way. Emphasis is laid more on romance than on sex. So if you're someone that's lusting after someone else, Separ is a good candidate, but he's not the ideal candidate to work with. That's also why he's solar. The sun more deals with romance primarily. So yeah, and romance in a good, long-lasting, stable way. So not just a quickie or some kind of fling or anything. No. A stable, long-lasting romantic connection. That's pretty much the way that Separ works, all-rounder. Yeah, and if I were to ask Separ, for example, to hook me up, so to speak, as in, you know what, I'm looking for a girlfriend, please find me one. Okay, Separ is going to do the same thing. That's his nature, which I just said. He's going to scan me to see exactly what I want, and he's going to look at what my options are within my direct environment, within the city I live in. As in, okay, he's going to look at my social life. How often does this guy go out? Where does he go to meet potential girlfriends? He's going to literally connect all the dots together, as in, okay, this guy likes to go swimming, for example. Marino likes to go swimming. He likes to go to naturistic places, to the park and whatnot. Okay, he's going to scan the entire city pretty much, as in, hey, there's someone else too that would make a potential girlfriend. I've got 3 potential girls for him. They don't all meet his standards, but they meet his standards partially. And he's going to simply guide me towards that. For example, if a girl that's a potential girlfriend goes to the park or goes to a supermarket that I also regularly visit or frequent, he's going to give me the almost irresistible urge or impulse to go to the supermarket at the exact same moment that she is going there, and he's going to make me bump into her, and the rest is going to happen relatively easily. That's pretty much the hardest part in this entire process. That's how it all happens. Okay, the environment, opportunities, what's available, and so on and so forth and whatnot. Okay, almost needless to say that if there's nothing that can be worked with, then you're not going to get anything. Okay, it's the equivalent of asking a spirit to bring you water when you're in a waterless environment like a desert, as in literally no water. Nope, you're not going to get anything because there's nothing to work with. That spirit thrives on opportunity, as in there has to be an opportunity within your environment. What you're looking for has to be present on this planet at least. And other factors, like I just mentioned, are that the nature of the spirit that he works with, the amount of energy that you provide him with, he's going to make your needs. In Zepar's example, I have the option to choose if I want to be with this girl, if she interests me. If not, then I'll simply reject, any advances the girl makes. And Zepar is also going to stop investing energy for that girl to come on to me. And that's how it goes on, okay? And he's going to keep going until I'm satisfied, unless I stop working with him, or unless I simply tell him that stop, I'm done. And it's simply going to stop, end of story. And last but not least, obviously, it's in alignment with the energy. He's not going to bust his ass when I barely pay him through offerings. So the better quality offerings I give him, the more energy he has, and the more energy he can invest into the goal itself, thereby getting me, for example, hotter girlfriends that meet or suit my needs better, women that are better looking, you name it. So yeah, results might be partial or for the most part unsatisfactory. An example that comes to mind, for example, if Zepar has little energy, then you might notice things like, for example, a girl just saying hi to you, as I know, hi, but that's it, nothing else after that. So that's normal. Usually that means that spirit has no more energy for example, for the month, or he has no more energy to spend at that moment, you name it. in accordance with all the other stuff I mentioned, your offerings, etc., 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 etc. He needs to recharge or reload, so to speak. Or you might notice that instead of an actual good-looking girl approaching you, like in my example for a case, this is not an actual working that I did. This is just an example that I'm giving. Sipar would, for example, hook me up with an ugly girl, a girl whose face is filled with pimples and shit, and I'll be like, ugh, no thank you. But bottom line is that opportunities are presented to me, and it's my choice to say yes or no. This is how it all works. It all depends on the situation. But bottom line is that all of this is taken into account. This is what happens in a ritual, or as the direct aftermath or result of a ritual. In cases, for example, where spirits are not used, like I said in the beginning, witchcraft, for example, and so on. I'm also going to link a witchcraft video to the end screen or in the description below. Be on the lookout for it. In the case of witchcraft, for example, it's self-generated energy, because during witchcraft, a basic ritual involves you not directly working with spirits. Of course, there are witchcraftian rituals where you do work with spirits by calling upon them, but we're assuming in this context, I'm simply referring to a basic ritual where you don't use any spirit. You simply use your own energy, as in, you want money or you need money, and you host a money ritual. You said to yourself, okay, I'm going to host a money ritual once every week. For example, I want abundance in my life, and Jupiter deals with abundance, so I'm going to do it every Thursday when Jupiter is at its strongest. You host the ritual on the correct day or correctly corresponding and or aligning day and or hour, and you do your thing. Okay, witchcraftian rituals in general involve using the energy itself. People that practice witchcraft primarily, I explained this in the video. Look for it if you want in-depth information on this topic. They simply, witchcraftian rituals, they simply generate energy by investing themselves as much as possible astrally or emotionally. The two go hand in hand in this concept or in this aspect. Okay, so a lot of things are placed symbolically on the altar that the person is standing in front of. Things that symbolize what he or she desires and or wants, such as money, you name it, everything that you can think of. Okay, the person puts gold, silver, or just simply dollar bills on it, anything you can think of, euros, anything that indicates wealth. It's simply to indicate the purpose of the working, the objective of it. And that person simply generates energy, astral energy, by visualizing himself or herself actually having what he or she wants, as in, I'm hosting a ritual because I want as much money as possible, and I'm visualizing money coming into my life. I'm literally visualizing people throwing money at me, figuratively as well as literally. That's what a witchcraftian ritual looks like. And they hyper up so much to the point that they can barely stand the energy. They're basically overloading. They're entirely filled with energy, and then they simply release that energy into the universe, as in, release, get me what I want. And in a certain way, it's almost like a temporary egregore. An egregore is a thought form. Bottom line is that that's a heap of energy that's been generated, and that heap of energy is then unleashed upon the world, so to speak. And the energy, in that case, the energy will simply work in a neutral fashion and will try to accommodate, since the energy has no specific personality, okay. But in such a context, the energy would take on the personality of the person, as in the character traits, the way the person wants it and or desires whatever he or she wants and or desires. So yeah, the spirit would, the energy would then be unleashed upon the world, and the energy would simply see to it that you get what you want within the confines or boundaries of everything I mentioned up to this point in the video. Okay, all the factors involved. But since it's energy that comes from you directly, if you're someone that practices witchcraft, then the energy would have your characteristics. So the energy would literally bring you things the way you want. Okay, exactly the way you want, because it's not a spirit that has his or her own unique personality. It's simply an entirely different spirit. Yeah, I mean, it's an entirely different entity. It's simply an energy being that you created, or it's simply a heap of energy that you created from your own metaphorically speaking loins. So yeah, that's how it works. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention. No, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's what the process looks like. So now you have a better insight if you didn't before. Thanks for watching. Bye.